A pleasant good morning. Mike Violet here. Time for another edition of Mike's Morning Musings for this middle of the weekday that we call Wednesday. It's March 11th, 2026. I'm in our Waterville studio today. I did not expect to come here today and do Mike's Morning Musings on Paula Doughty being out at Skowhegan, but here we are. The stunning news coming down late yesterday afternoon. Drew Bonifant of the Press Herald, KJ Sentinel, Sun Journal breaking the story. Maine's most decorated field hockey coach Paula Doughty out at Skowhegan, subheadlined, "The iconic coach won't return to the Riverhawks helm after 44 years, during which she won 20 state championships." So, here are some of the details. The superintendent in Skowhegan, SAD 54's Jonathan Moody. The athletic director is Nick Wallace. They told players during a meeting Friday that Doughty would not be back next season. Kaylee Curian said, quote, "They sat us down and told us that she had been let go and would not be returning. They couldn't tell us why. There were about 18 of us that were bawling our eyes out and went home crying. We were very upset because we didn't have our say," end quotation. Now, this meeting came the day after the Skowhegan School Board went into executive session, God, do I hate that, to discuss a personnel matter. Moody declined comment afterwards when asked if Doughty was the subject of the meeting or if she would return as coach. The Press Herald also asked Moody after a January board meeting if Doughty was still the coach. His response, quote, "Yeah, she still is. There has been no change," end quotation. He declined comment on things yesterday. Paula Doughty declined comment to the Morning Sentinel yesterday. She did not decline comment to me. I messaged Paula Doughty as soon as this came down, and she got back to me virtually instantly and had a few things to say, but nothing that would give you any kind of insight as to why she was let go. She said she would talk to me and do an interview with me when the time was right. So this is not a pretty situation. And Paula Doughty, after 44 years, I think should have been allowed to leave on her own terms. She is royalty. She really is. I mean, when it comes to field hockey, not only is she obviously a Maine high school field hockey Hall of Famer, she is in the National Field Hockey Hall of Fame. She is a brilliant, brilliant coach, and I don't think there's any question that what's happened at Skowhegan in 44 years, the success of their field hockey program, comes down to one person. That person's name is Paula Doughty. Now, I don't have any insight as to what happened. I've heard things, maybe like you have. I've heard things about what's going on here, but I don't have any insight, and nobody else had any insight or was willing to offer any insight as to what happened to me last night when I heard from Skowhegan field hockey players from the past, some current field hockey players from Skowhegan. Nary a discouraging word. Nobody had anything bad to say about Paula Doughty. In fact, many of them told me how they felt that Paula Doughty really impacted their lives after field hockey. And that's the secret to the success here, I think, of Skowhegan, is the young women who have played field hockey for Paula Doughty have gone on to be very productive adults in life. Now, is Paula Doughty for everyone? No. Is Paula Doughty everyone's cup of tea? No. We do have a culture clash here between an older veteran coach. She's been around 45, almost 50 years. Older, I think Paula is 70. Sorry, Paula, didn't mean to bring your age up, but still vibrant, still out there really being a hands-on coach. But not for everybody. Not everybody, especially in today's softer, gentler world, not everybody is going to take to the coaching methods of Paula Doughty. Now, there have been incidents this school year at other high schools that have ended up with players leaving the school because of what they felt were the heavy-handed coaching tactics of the coach. So this is not mutual, this is not exclusive to Skowhegan. I hate to see this for a lot of reasons. You can hear the hurt in the quotes of the young women who were playing for Paula Doughty. I hope this isn't just the squeaky wheel getting all the attention here. I mean, if whatever's going on behind the scenes, and athletic directors and superintendents and anybody in a public office, they love to hide behind personnel matters If you're an MSAD 54, you pay Paula Doughty's salary. You pay the salary of Jonathan Moody. You pay the salary of Nick Wallace. You ought to know what's going on behind the scenes. You really should. You've earned that right. I think that right is something you should. How do I want to say this? The knowledge here, if you took the executive session out of play, the knowledge here that you would get is something that, as a taxpayer, you deserve to get. You don't deserve to get, this is a personnel matter. Sorry, we can't talk about this. I hate that when it comes to anything involving government and public office. But while I would love to be able to sit here and say, I'm sure this can get worked out somehow, obviously it's not going to happen. You can't go back on this, and it's absurd even to think that you can. All I know is that Paula Doughty is a dear friend of mine, somebody who I really, really like, really, really respect. And I think she should have been allowed to go out on her own terms. Unless there's some sort of egregious, awful violation, rule broken, law broken, which I, of course, highly doubt. Coaching philosophies are different now than they were years ago. The kind of coach that Paula Doughty is being and has been weeded out, and it is being weeded out all across the country in every single sport. That's not going to go over anymore. But in Paula Doughty's case, the way that she coaches is the way that she coaches. She's not going to change, nor should she change, because it's the secret to her success. Look at the success. Now, I know what you're saying here. If you're not a Paula Doughty fan, well, that doesn't excuse this behavior, that behavior, whatever kind of behavior. I'll tell you, I've seen some coaches through the years in all sports be hard asses. I've played for some hard asses. I've had my ass literally kicked. Oh, that was by my own father who was coaching me. But I've literally been subjected to an ass kicking before, in the literal sense. And it was good for me. I needed it as a teenager. I needed to have my ass kicked, and I needed to be told, Violet, one way or another, we're going to work that baby fat off you. You know what? I was fine. I recovered. Life went on. It's nearly 50 years later, and I'm still a fairly productive adult, despite being told that I had baby fat, which I believe I still have and have not gotten rid of, much to the chagrin of that coach. But I'd love to find out more. And when Paula Doughty is ready to talk, she told me last night she would talk to me. I hope it's first. I think our relationship is at that level. And when Paula Doughty is ready to talk, I'm going to have her on the score, and we'll talk to Paula Doughty and get her side of things. Meantime, don't believe everything you read on social media. There was a bunch of stuff yesterday on social media prior to this becoming official, or at least getting released in the story by the Sentinel on their website. There was some crazy stuff that I saw, crazy stuff people sent me last night on social media. Don't believe everything you read. Keep in mind, Paula Doughty, aside from being a hard-ass field hockey coach, and yes, she is, and I think she wears that title proudly, is a wife, is a mother, has been an educator. This is a really Class A type woman, and she deserves a tremendous amount of respect. So let's wait and see what happens from this point on.